Welcome, everybody, to Off the Cuff. I am Adam Banks. Thank you for listening to the show. We are coming at you live from Lexington, Kentucky. Josh Bryant is in the studio with me. Josh, how's it going, my man?
I'm doing good, Adam. Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure to be on the show and talk to the people and let them know what's going on in the world.
Absolutely, man. There's a lot that's been going on in the world. And speaking of the world, the whole world watched the presidential debate between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. 80 million people, in fact, Josh. That is impressive. It was on every single channel. NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox, CNN, Disney Channel, Cartoon Network. It was everywhere. It was on every channel. It was crazy. 80 million people tuned in.
80 million.
Probably,
how many people are in the world? 7 billion?
I don't know how many people
7
are in
billion,
the world. Yeah.
if you didn't know.
Yeah, 7 billion people in the world, and 80 million people tuned in to watch a debate. That's pretty impressive.
Get a billion, but that is impressive. Some people got to work.
Yeah.
I unfortunately couldn't tune in.
They said something around like 30 or 40 million people tuned in to watch the season finale of Seinfeld, which I thought was pretty crazy. Maybe, I for some reason, I was thinking it was 80 million, but maybe because the presidential debate number is in my head, I thought 80 million is just a number in my head. But anyway, the presidential debate, Josh, did you get a chance to watch it?
I just mentioned I was at work.
You were at work, so you did not get to watch the debate. So you were one of those 80 million people that didn't watch. Like, who are you voting for? If you did not watch the debate, how do you know who you're going to vote for? These debates is where you find out who the president is.
I've seen some highlights, and I saw how rude Trump was.
You saw how rude Trump was?
It seemed like he was very aggressive and attacking at Hillary.
Yeah, well, I think that Donald Trump won the debate. The media is saying that Hillary Clinton won it. Of course, all of her supporters are saying she won it. But all of Trump's supporters are saying that he won it. So basically, whoever you're for, you're going to say won the debate.
Isn't that how it always goes?
I feel like it is. But, some people that I know who were voting for Trump are now not voting for Trump because of the debate. They said that they got irritated about his tax returns, which I understand. But then there's people who get reminded of Hillary's emails and they quit.
Yeah, Hillary's emails are very
supporting her. So it's one of those
very
things. It's one of those things, man. So 80 million people tuned in. There was jabs back and forth. So just off the highlights, who do you think won? Off the highlights.
I think Hillary did. I remember seeing the shimmy shake that she did at one point.
The shimmy shake?
She did a little shoulder shake as if she felt so confident. And
see, that's what I get so irritated at the media for. They're making it... See, of course you say Hillary won because that's who the media is wanting to say who won.
What did I see on social media the other day? It was the same paper in two different states.
Yeah.
And they were different headlines but the same picture. So it made you think differently as you did in one state, but it was the same news. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So what I just said is how is talking about what you just said is how media manipulates our views.
Well, Lester Holt, he was the moderator of the debate. He is the NBC nightly news anchor. I think they ran all over Lester Holt. They ran
I heard about that.
all
I don't
over
know
him.
About it, but
well,
I heard about
he is. You know who that is, right? He is. You should know. That's the newsman. That's America's news anchor, and
I'm aware.
Lester Holt basically was hired as the moderator to do a job, to take control of the debate. I don't know if he actually did do that because they interrupted him. Trump was very forceful. They got their points across. When he said time's up, they just kept their gums a-flapping. It was just, so...
that's a very intimidating position.
It is, but I don't think he'll ever moderate again.
That's probably a good analysis.
Yeah, he probably does not need to... I think that Scott Peevely, is that his name from CBS? I think he needs to...
If you're going to moderate, you need to be able to be in control and lead.
Or bring Dan Rather back. I love Dan Rather.
Yes, that's a good choice.
Bring Dan Rather back.
Everyone knows that name.
But yeah, so Election Day's coming up in 2 months, guys. Go out and vote.
It's going to be an interesting time. Someone said to me, and I agreed with them pretty much, they said to me the other day, maybe the most important election in our generation's time period. Or, sorry, our generation's most important election. Besides maybe Obama. The Obama election. Is it not?
This is pretty big.
It's just equivalent. It's equivalent almost.
This is pretty
really
big.
Is.
America is at a low point, and this is the election to elect a president to bring the country back to prominence. So, Josh, Football is back in full swing. UK football. I could come on this podcast and I could completely just crush them because they have done so badly.
Of
but
course, let's talk about the positives.
Let's talk about the positives. They won against South Carolina the other night. They won against South Carolina.
They did.
Yeah. And it was a
how
big
many times
win.
does that make under Stoops that we've won?
3 times in a row.
I'm not bragging at all. I just wanted to know out of curiosity because that's the only good thing he has done. The only good thing
is beat South
because
Carolina.
he's not made it to a bowl game.
No,
but we're not going to get on a rant on hating. Or I would like to not because we just won,
right.
And I would like to think that we could still win 5 games,
right,
and maybe even 6. But that's going to be really, really, really tough to win 6.
Yeah,
we can still beat Mizzou. We can still beat
Vanderbilt.
We can still beat the team we played at the end of the season, Austin Peay.
We can still, we can still absolutely win 5. I think we're going to win 5. Now 6, that's a different story. Mark Stoops.
Next week, folks, don't tune in because we played Bama.
Yeah, Bama's going to kill us. But here's what I have to say. Could you imagine, Josh, if we beat Alabama next week? Think about that.
It'd be like when we beat LSU.
No, it would be bigger because Alabama's number 1 in the country right now, first of all.
What was LSU that year?
They were number 1 in the country. But still, Kentucky football has never been at its lowest point. If we beat...
Agreed, because we made bowl games back then. We made bowl games back then.
And we had Rich Brooks. If we beat Alabama next... This is for the career of Mark Stoops. This is not for the program. This is for the career of Mark Stoops. If Mark Stoops wanted to revive his career, he could do it by beating Bama and also making it to a bowl.
Yes,
if he made it to a bowl...
You can't just do one. You have to do both.
You have to go to a bowl.
You have to complete both things on the list,
You can't beat Bama and then be...
not
and then be okay. But, the excitement in this place would really bleed over for a few weeks if we beat Bama because that would be huge.
Everyone here understands that. The people who are listening that aren't from here, if you ever have came and visited Kentucky, then you understand how prideful our fans are. We almost are that prideful for football. We love football. We love football so much, we endorsed a new stadium and dropped millions on it. Millions, multi-millions. Not only that, we did it on Stoops as well, and we can't even let him get out of his contract. It's so high because we'd lose more money. That's how invested we are in football.
There's excitement in the football program right now.
We want to be good so bad.
Because we have Eddie Graham. He is good. He is very good. And he is somebody who can really get our offense to where it needs to be. And I think that he has stepped up as a coach. And I think that Stoops knows that he is hanging on by a literal thread. So this game has some momentum. Now, realistically, he's going to lose. And, that probably is what's going to happen. And we should probably get rid of Stoops after...
Who is the highest ranked team that we have left to play so we have a chance? Oh, we could beat Georgia. They're not ranked.
We're not beating Georgia.
But they're not ranked.
Yeah, we're not beating
But that's
Georgia.
our best chance if we're going to make a bowl game.
You're crazy, man. See, I don't like to talk unrealistically. I don't like to talk foolish.
We're talking about Bama.
I don't like to talk about
foolish.
No, I'm just saying that I was painting the story for Mark Stoops. If Mark Stoops won that game, that would... Okay, but Mark Stoops needs to be fired. And you know who we should replace him with? Les Miles. Because he just got fired.
He's a free agent, folks.
He is a free agent. He just got fired from LSU.
Very interesting.
LSU is an SEC school.
How long has he been there?
I don't know, but it is one of the most prestigious football programs. Top 10, definitely, most prestigious football programs in the country. Why? But here's who I think is going to go. Everybody is like, well, where's Les Miles going to go? I'm not really interested in that. So I am as to who is going to coach at LSU. Who is going to be the coach at LSU? You know who I think it's going to be? I'm predicting it now here on Off the Cuff that the next coach at LSU will be Jimbo Fisher of Florida State.
Okay, very interesting.
He was interested in the job last year. He was very interested in the job last year. And he stayed at Florida State. But I think this is the year. LSU is going to come knocking.
For everyone who didn't know, including me, Les Miles coached at LSU from 2005 to 2016. So 11 years. Did a lot of great things for that team in that state.
Yeah.
In that college.
So that's...
Very interesting. I like your point of view, and I like that you're going ahead and giving us a guess on who you think who it will be.
Be the LSU coach. That is a big... school. We talk about the SEC a lot on this podcast because of Kentucky's in it, and we talk about basketball we have the March Madness podcast. We talk about football. But, we do that because we're Kentucky fans, and that's what we like to talk about. But SEC football is so much better than SEC basketball. SEC is the best conference in the nation.
Agreed.
It's the best conference in college basketball.
Before we move on anymore, let's not forget one other thing we're supposed to talk about with Stoops.
Yeah, I was thinking about skipping that altogether because, I've been really trying to, a fan of Off the Cuff came up to me one day and said, Banks, you're really hard on Stoops. People are really starting to doubt your fandom towards UK. You need to chill out. So I was like, okay, so if you notice, I've been really easy on Stoops.
This episode I
have. Because I've thrashed him.
You like how I put that in?
I have thrashed him on others.
Just a few.
But... Josh, I was going to skip it, man, because I didn't want to talk about it, but you brought it up.
Just mention it briefly, or I can.
Okay.
I don't know enough about it to go into full details like you can.
Here's what's going on. A couple weeks ago, my friend, Ryan Mullins, he's been on the show, on the March Madness podcast.
Heard the name.
Big college football fan. He contacts me. He says, hey, aren't you glad? I said, what should I be glad for? He said, are you glad that Mark Stoops is in this scandal? I said, Ryan, what are you talking about? He said, you ain't heard the rumor. This was a couple weeks ago. I said, no, what rumor? He said, basically, Mark Stoops knocked up a college student that was a student worker for his staff, like a videographer or somebody. Knocked her up, got her pregnant. Scandal. Boom. They could fire him. 4 calls. They wouldn't have to pay him. His contract is void. We could take that money we were going to pay him and go after Les Miles. If that rumor is true. So... I don't know. Is it true? I don't think it is. Who do I think started the rumor? It was one of 2 people. One, it could have been Louisville fans because it was on Louisville message boards. Or 2, it was Matt Jones of Kentucky Sports Radio. Because Matt Jones had a show, Hey Kentucky, that premiered on WLEX, and I thought that he needed a hot topic to talk about. So I thought that he would release that rumor so we'd have something to talk about. But that theory ended on Monday because when his show came out and debuted, he touched very little on the Mark Stoops rumor. And he crushed it as soon as it came out. So, I think it was theory 1. I think it was Louisville fans.
Okay. Well, it's still a very interesting topic, and let's hope the best for him that it's not
I got
true.
A question for you, though. You said that, so basically if I ask you the question as, do you hope it's true or not true, you're going to say you hope it's not true.
Well, of course. I don't want to think
I hope it's
bad
true
for anything that relates to UK.
I hope it's true.
You know what I'm saying? So we can get another coach.
I'm kidding. I don't hope that's true. That's a terrible thing to have happened, if that is. But just to touch on that just a little bit. But ladies and gentlemen, just to touch on a little NBA.
Yes, let's
touch on a little NBA. Media Day was just the other day, and a lot of big things happened on NBA Media Day. They announced Kevin Durant as part of the Golden State Warriors. Folks, I don't think you all know how big this is, that Kevin Durant is on the Golden State Warriors. They're going to win the championship.
They should. They really should. So, yeah, it was the first time he was introduced to the Warriors fan base, pretty much. And so that was a great thing to see and witness and to hear him speak to the fan base and how enthusiastic he is to be there and everything. And it's an exciting time in California again. So that makes me happy. But as a Lakers fan, it makes you think also, when's the next time we're going to get a title? We got a young prospecting team, but the Warriors are really stacked for the next 3 to 5 years probably. Right. It's an exciting time to watch the NBA and be a fan. It's the most exciting time in years. So, what else happened? In Lakers Media Day, it was the first time in 20 years Kobe Bryant wasn't around, but we introduced Brendan Ingram to the Laker fan base.
Well, it was, kind of weird when players like that are no longer in the league, like Shaq, Michael Jordan.
Yes.
People like that, Kobe Bryant not being there, a part of it.
Speaking of that, Kevin Garnett talked about he's retiring now.
So
he's not going to play this season. And Paul Pierce, this will be his last season.
And it's about time. It's about time. Those guys need to go. But, my point I'm making, those guys, they need to. But my point is, it is the best thing that could happen to the Lakers in the last 5 years that Kobe Bryant is gone, because the Lakers are now going to rebuild. Kobe Bryant was getting paid way too much money.
That's agreeable. I hate to say it because I'm a diehard Kobe fan. It's hard to say, but it's the truth. He was. But what we have now is that we tanked a couple of years and we have young prospects. So hopefully Julius Randle, Jordan Clarkson, D'Angelo Russell, and Brandon Ingram can do something for the Lakers, especially this season. It would be a good year without Kobe Bryant for them to have plenty of chances.
It just goes to show you what kind of an organization the Lakers is, because they are so loyal to people like Kobe Bryant. A franchise took that player and they kept him for as long as he wanted to stay. Do you think he was forced out, or do you think he knew it was time to go?
Oh, it was time to go.
Yeah.
He knew he couldn't play.
How old is Kobe?
37, 38.
Okay.
But back to NBA Media Day. It was just a great day. A lot of players were introduced to a lot of new teams. The Knicks had a bunch of new players introduced to their new fan base, obviously, with Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah, one of your favorite college basketball players of all time.
You know I met him, right?
No, tell that story briefly.
Yeah, you didn't know I
briefly.
Don't hold up. And then you can make Committee Day. But yeah.
This is your show.
Tell the story briefly, he says. Let's stop
Let me take a lay back in my chair here.
Let me tell you the story about how I met Joakim Noah briefly, and then you get back to it. I was at a UK basketball game and saw him playing basketball, wanted to meet him, and walked down there and acted like I was a janitor, rolling up a extension cord, rolled myself right back to the Florida locker room. Saw Joakim Noah out there wiping his sweat off in the hallway. I said, "Hey, Joakim."
You did what?
And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Hey, man." I was like, somebody said you wanted to get a picture with me. And he was like, "Yeah." And he put his arm around me. We took a picture. No, I'm serious. I'm going to post, for this podcast, I'm going to post as the picture episode for this podcast, the picture of me and Joakim Noah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, is that the story though? You rolled a cable back and I'm like you were a janitor.
And met
someone
Joakim
said
Noah.
You wanted to take a picture with me.
Every bit of that is true except that last part. I said, "Hey, Joakim, can I get a picture with you?" And I zipped my coat up because I had on all UK gear.
Yeah.
And I didn't want him to see it because he was a Florida guy. But man, he was really nice. And my sister took the picture and she deleted it. And I said, "Oh my God, I almost killed her." So I had to go back over there, and it was awesome because, he put his ring on my head and stuff, man. It was crazy. So I had to go back over there and say, "Hey, man, my sister deleted the picture. Can you take another one?" He said, "Yeah." And he just, stuck his hands out, did the peace sign. We took the picture. Second picture.
That's a peace sign.
That's probably what that was. And I'm going to tag him in it on Twitter. And I want to tag him in on Twitter here in a minute. And I want to say, man, this is like 10 years ago.
Don't forget, Joe.
Yeah, Joakim Noah. So, yeah, me and Joakim, we go way back. But back to your story, they introduced players like that on the team, the Knicks.
Don't forget about, they also introduced their new shooting guard, Courtney Lee, who played for who? Western Kentucky.
Western Kentucky. Yes, he did. I remember Courtney Lee.
Yes,
White boy. No, black boy.
Mixed
boy. See, that's what I meant. Black and white, mixed. Yes, Wesley. So, Wesley is from Western. And now he's playing for the Knicks.
Yes.
That's crazy. Good for Wesley.
So, yes, this will be a very exciting season. It's going to be one of the best seasons there has been in the NBA in a long time. And I'm really looking forward to it.
I am too. I'm really excited about it. And, Josh, it's just been crazy all around, everything that's been going on. How's everything been going in your life? Good?
Of course, yeah. I've been enjoying doing the football games for the West High School, and that's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I've done 4 games. Unfortunately, there's only 1 left for the season. The last game, let me tell you about that briefly for a second.
Briefly, though.
So, the last game, West is up, I think 21-0 at halftime. We've only won 1 game on the season.
Who are you playing?
We were playing Clay County. Okay. And about at the end of halftime, it's almost over. It starts to rain.
So you have to talk a lot during the rain. So what do you talk about?
Not only does it start to rain, it starts to pour, it starts to thunder, it starts to lightning. When that happens, of course, like Banks was going into, I was telling my story briefly.
Yeah. And anyway, it was taking way too long.
We get a rain delay.
Yeah.
During that time, we have to stay on the air no matter what. So every time there's lightning, there's a 30 more minute rain delay. So during that time, we just got to keep rambling. So we're talking about what's already happened in the season, talking about all the losses, unfortunately, and talking about other sports that's going on with West in general, like volleyball. Volleyball team's good, and we're talking about what's to come, what games we have left, and then eventually we're running out of things to say. We're interviewing people that we have in the office there with us, and.
Yeah, so you talked about a lot in the rain. So, so a lot has been going on, man. Yes, with that. So, it's interesting.
It was very challenging, and luckily, the game finally ended after an hour and a half of rain delay, and West won. And, Yes, it was intense.
It was. Do you get hungry? Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Luckily, we get fed.
You get fed in the booth?
Yes.
Who feeds you?
I mean, sometimes people bring up food to us. I mean, they will get us something from like the concession stand because they realize we can't leave and stuff. So usually somebody brings up at least water and something to eat. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So.
Well, good. Well, Josh, man, I just want to say it's been a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you for doing it.
It has.
You know, we came in to, I don't know what the producer was playing. I think he resorted to Pandora radio. He didn't even find us a song.
I think I heard him like mumbling something to somebody else in like the back and
about playing Pandora.
Yeah. I mean, like.
Well, what's he going to play now?
I don't know. But
is he looking up something?
It looks like it. He looks confused. I mean, he didn't look like he was ready for this to end, and you know how he is sometimes. He just he struggles.
I mean, what's he doing? Is he smoking something over there?
Probably.
Because I sometimes hear like a lighter noise in the background. It's like
He's smoking cigarettes. He gets a nicotine high. Really.
There's no smoking allowed in the studio.
Yeah, but
actually, I don't mind it. I don't mind if people smoke cigarettes around me. It don't bother me.
Really?
Yeah, it really don't bother me. It's fine. It's fine. People complain way too much, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, oh my gosh, what I hate about the producer is he's so slow. Can't ever find anything. Here we go.
That's my car. That's my car. That's my VX. That's my car. Ricky, you ain't never gonna get that.
Rick Ross.
You know he lost some weight recently? A lot of weight.
From what?
Like 100 pounds.
Why?
Eating fruit. He was too big.
Fruit makes you gain weight. We'll be back. Absolutely. We'll be back, ladies and gentlemen. This has been Adam Banks, Josh Bryant.
Thanks for having me.
Here on Off the Cuff. We'll see you in the next episode.